Hey, and welcome to The Explainer. You know, you've got architects dreaming up these massive skyscrapers, and then you've got engineers designing the tiniest little parts inside your coffee maker. And they feel like completely separate worlds, right? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and find the thread, this really powerful and kind of surprising thread that ties them all together. So you look at these four fields: product, interior, architectural, and mechanical design. At a glance, they just seem so different. I mean, you've got the huge, soaring shell of a building on one side, and then the tiny, satisfying click of a button on some gadget on the other. But what if they're not really separate islands? What if they're actually all part of one big, connected ecosystem?
All right, first things first. Before we can see how they all connect, we gotta get a handle on the individual pieces of the puzzle. So let's do a quick breakdown of what each of these design fields really does.
Okay, let's start at the biggest scale we can think of, architectural design. That gives us the building itself, the whole shell, the structure. Then you zoom in a bit, and interior design takes over. It's all about shaping the human experience inside that structure. Now let's zoom in even more, to an object on the wall. That's product design. Think of a smart thermostat, how it looks and feels. And then one final zoom, all the way in. That's mechanical design. That's the invisible genius inside the box that makes the whole thing actually work. See? 4 different roles, but you can already start to see a pattern here, a flow from the outside in.
So those neat little definitions are helpful, for sure.
But the real magic, the place where all the innovation happens,
It's in the overlap. It's where these fields stop being so separate and start bleeding into each other. It's not really 4 distinct paths. It's one big, messy, beautiful design ecosystem. Let's look at the first and most obvious partnership. You've got an architect who designs the skeleton, the very bones of a building. But what good is a skeleton without a soul, right? That's the interior designer. They come in and breathe life into that space. They design how we move, how we feel, how we live inside the architect's creation. You literally can't have a great building without both. And you see that exact same dynamic when you look at products. The product designer creates the experience, how it looks, how it feels, how you interact with it, but it's the mechanical designer who builds the hidden engine that makes it all go. I mean, think about it. The most beautiful phone in the world is just a paperweight without the incredible engineering packed inside. And the most brilliant internal mechanism is useless if the product itself is clunky and horrible to use. They're 2 sides of the very same coin. And this brings us to a really, really cool point, especially if you have any kind of background in mechanical engineering. Your skill set, it isn't just for one of these boxes. It's something else. It's like a master key that can unlock doors across this entire world of design. Because when you study mechanical engineering, you learn more than just how gears and motors work. You learn a whole new way of thinking. You learn systems thinking, which helps you see how that little thermostat has to connect to the whole house. You learn material science, so you can pick a plastic that not only looks good, but is also super durable. This isn't just a list of classes, you know? It's a genuine creative toolkit for solving almost any problem. So let's put this into practice with our smart thermostat. A mechanical engineer doesn't just design the thing in a vacuum. Nope. They start with system integration, making sure this new gadget can actually talk to the building's heating and cooling systems. Then they design the mechanisms, making the buttons and dials feel solid and reliable. They select the perfect materials for heat, for durability, for look and feel. And, maybe most importantly, they figure out the manufacturing feasibility, making sure the cool idea can actually be built without costing a fortune. This one role becomes the bridge that connects the architecture, the interior, and the product. And this creative edge, this way of thinking across all these different fields, it's not just for a smart home gadget. It's a mindset you can apply to any challenge in any industry. It's about having the power to see a creative idea and also having that fundamental knowledge to actually make it happen.
And this is where it gets really fun. That exact same integrated way of thinking is absolutely essential whether you're designing something for a person to hold, like consumer goods, or designing the factory machines that make them. It even applies to enormous systems like ships and airplanes. Whether you're working at the huge scale of marine engineering or the tiny details of a manufacturing line, the principles are the same. You have to understand the system, the materials, and the mechanics to bring a design to life. The possibilities are just huge.
But there is one more crucial piece to this puzzle. Having a brilliant, world-changing idea is amazing, but it's only half the battle. If you can't communicate why it's valuable, if you can't explain it to the architect, to the marketing team, to the client, that amazing idea might just stay an idea forever. Being able to sell your vision is just as critical as having the vision in the first place.
So when you pull it all together, you see that these fields aren't really separate at all. They're all woven together. And the ability to think across those boundaries, to understand both the skeleton and the soul, the engine and the experience, that's more valuable now than it has ever been. So it just leaves us with one last question to think about. In a world where everything is connected, what complex problem are you now equipped to solve? What will you design next?